Hey you! Where am I? What's the meaning of this?
You're in Surrey.
Where's that?
In England.
Ew. Hello everyone, it's me again, Milo, from I Think I'm a Nerd, and welcome back to the worst countdown to Halloween, the series where we play Steam's worst horror games. Today we will be talking about the second worst horror game on Steam, that being Typical Nightmare. And it crashed during the intro. And it crashed again. And again. And I guess it's time for a refund. I mean, the second worst horror game on Steam was not a Typical Nightmare. The second worst horror game on Steam is The Tower, and this was definitely planned out ahead of time and wasn't chosen out of blind panic. Hi, editing Milo here. For a bit earlier, I speedran the game, and it looks like I only have footage from the speedrun, and I can't record more background footage for a reason you'll find out pretty soon, but the entire background footage whenever I show the game will have a live split in the corner. Thank you for understanding, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Developed and published by Narrow Monolith, this is their newest game, released in 2015, so they haven't made a game in a decade. Does that make anyone feel old, knowing 2015 was 10 years ago? I was 8. Anyways, The Tower has 70 reviews, with only 12 of them being positive. People say, this isn't a game, it is a poorly designed chore. An actual chore wouldn't have you bumping into invisible walls the entire time. Don't pay for the privilege of doing a poorly designed chore. Stay away from this game. The Tower takes place in a dungeon in England. You play as Elliot, who the game claims is based on an actual real person who was thrown in a keep in Surrey during the 11th century. I say claim because I couldn't find anything about it online. I looked everywhere and I couldn't even find a keep in Surrey during the 11th century. I found some castles during the time period, but no permanent prisons. I'm not going to say I'm necessarily mad about learning this fact, because the game does explicitly say no one knows what happened to this Englishman. Therefore, the game isn't claiming to tell the story of a great escape. I, however, always find it annoying when media makes up facts in order to sound cooler and more interesting or to hook readers. Ignoring that, this game starts with you getting imprisoned, and when you ask about your wife, they say they're going to kill her at dawn. It cuts to 4 months later, and it looks like one of your shackles are loose. With a bit of force, you break free and look for a way out. You then shimmy through this thing, and you fall through the floor. You wake up and walk around and crouch under this thing to get into a safe room, and you take a short cat nap. When you wake up, you discover this guard berating a prisoner. He leaves after yelling at the prisoner, "Shut up," and you go talk to this man, and you discover that he's blind and crazy. He starts yelling and you run away, and the guard kills him. Off screen, of course. You then sneak past the guard, go into this room with like water and stuff, and then when you leave, the guard walks away and you can swipe this key, and using this key you can go into the holding cells where you can find your wife, and now the entire game is over. That is it. The game is complete. It takes less than 15 minutes to complete. In fact, I managed to speedrun the game in 13 minutes and then again in 11 minutes, and after all of this, I still got my refund. As you can already tell, there are a lot of faults with this game. So let's go over the good, which don't worry will only take less than a minute. The voice acting isn't terrible. They speak well, even if the writing isn't the best.
Please, what is meant to have damned me so? In the king's name, what am I accused of?
The graphics are decent. They aren't groundbreaking, but it's far from bad. And, nope, that's all that is good. Here goes the bad. Invisible walls are everywhere, causing you to get stuck on everything if you're not in the exact right location. The controls aren't told to you, which is mostly fine except for this segment, which I didn't know I had to or even could crouch. This is so annoying since I wish they popped up a little thing that said C like they do for the spacebar in these segments. Half of the game is waiting for dialogue. There are multiple times where you just wait for the character to speak. I'm pretty sure there's less than 5 minutes of you having control, which would be less of a problem if the writing is better. The little writing there is, I think, is confusing. The goal of the game is to find your wife, but you were told she would die 4 months ago.
What of my wife? My little one? What fate has befallen them? Jailer!
They'll be put upon a cross with the others at dawn.
you were told she would die 4 months ago. So it'd be better if you were wandering around trying to escape and happened to find your wife instead of actively looking for her, since you should assume she's dead. For this segment, I didn't know what to do for this guard because most of the game was pretty straightforward. Walk through clearly defined paths, go exploring, and when you come back, this guard leaves and you can see who's protecting a key, go to the locked doors, blah 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 blah. Pretty easy to understand. However, for this guard, I didn't know what to do. At first I went him face to face, hoping I could kill him, and he just stabbed me. And when I tried to sneak around him, he still killed me. So I had to guess what to do, which was just to wait. This would be less than an issue if the save feature worked. It didn't, so when I died I had to watch the entire beginning cutscene again, which is all unskippable. I had to watch this beginning cutscene like 3 or 4 times before I completed the game because it wouldn't let me save. And finally, the last problem is, you probably guessed it, the game's too fucking short. It is easily the shortest game in terms of gameplay because mostly the length came from cutscenes. For fun, let's re-rank these games. For fully completing the games, I rank these number 1, the best being Flightmare, number 2, County Hospital, 3, The Tower, and 4 being Joe's Diner, mainly just because it took too long. When it comes to just playing for 30 minutes, I'd change my ranking slightly with Joe's Diner being first, Flightmare being second, County Hospital 2 being third, and this game being last. I would call this game a scam, especially because on the Steam page, it says nowhere that it is only 1 episode. And I would say that it's a scam since it implies that there are multiple episodes. I just fucking hate this game. There's nothing else really to talk about. For Joe's Diner and Flightmare, I feel like there was a potential for both of them to be good. For County Hospital 2, it just needed more time in the oven and to develop more things. At least it had more than 5 minutes of gameplay. This game should not be saved, unlike those 3. It should be completely redone if the story wants to be reused, but there's barely a story. This isn't a game, just a way to make a quick buck. In conclusion, don't buy the game. Don't support the developer. This is not fun, this is not good. I can't and I will just refuse to recommend it. I just hate this so fucking much. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry for the shorter episode, there were just a couple of problems with it as you could tell, and I hope you join us for Halloween for the worst horror game on Steam. But until then, goodbye, and always remember to avoid Britain. See you later, nerders.